Hello, Guardian Resilience team. I am Carlo Jimenez, the physical therapist here at Buckley. Thanks for being here. Today we are talking about micro movements for musculoskeletal health. As the slide says, wellness is not a 60-minute gym session, it's the other 23 hours. In other words, it's the tiny things we do during a normal shift that protects our necks, back, and shoulders and can actually boost our energy. Hopefully in these 25-30 minutes, I'll give you simple plan you can start today. First, why short movements next beat long static hours. Second, which joints need motion and which ones need more control. And last but not least, a daily blueprint for both 8 hours and 12-hour shifts. Great thing is we don't need special clothing and no special equipment required. Okay, let's move on. Here's today's roadmap. First, why micro movement matters, right? A quick look at the cost of stillness and the 0 60 to 120 minute creep clock. We'll go through that. Second, joint rolls and quick fixes. A simple mobility versus stability snapshot, a three fast resets for the ankle, knee, hip, lumbar spine, low back, and the upper back and neck, okay? And third, the daily movement blueprint. We'll use the anchor, micro movement, a micro pyramid, and laid out sample timelines for an 8-hour desk shift and a 12-hour shift, okay? We'll finish with a conclusion, the big takeaways, and the 72-hour commitment so this sticks, right? Everything should be desk friendly, takes minutes, and you will live with one anchor, one micro break, and macro session on your calendar. The reality is that most of us sits about 6 to 8 hours. You guys might expect that longer, which about 12 hours a day. That means roughly about 70 to 70% of hours of our waking hours are sedentary. Nothing breaks at once. That's the reality. But stillness and static positions creeps in the body. Blood flow slows down, the small postural muscles downshift, and load settles into the neck, low back at least. That's why you can feel fine at 9 in the morning and tight by 1400. Those muscles are not weak, but because tissue have been asked to hold that position for too long, right? The actual fix is not a perfect posture. It's a brief regular movement, a 60 to 2 minute second minute rest and reset that interrupts the creep, restores circulation, and resets muscles activation so the next work block feels better. Here, I love this slide, this diagram, which summarizes what we're trying to convey for the rest of the session today. In a 0 to 30 minutes of sitting, blood flow and activation falls, right? By 30 to 60, stiffness and alertness starts to dip. Past 120 minutes, which is about 2 hours, postural muscles are basically off and discomfort starts to ramp up, right? What's the solution? Well, simply we know that interrupting your posture for around before 60 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes of movement every hour tied up to your normal transition. So we know that this is going to help you to feel more alert, it's going to decrease the muscle tension, and it's going to increase the muscle activation, and it's going to prevent some of the pain and discomforts that you're feeling when you're sitting for too long. Think of movement as a spectrum, right? Not workout or nothing is no black and white. On the left, we've got sitting, then standing, a light walk, movement snacks, and those 60 to 120-second resets, and finally, exercise on the right. For desks-based days, right, when you're sitting for too long, 8, 12 hours, the biggest daily return comes from the middle of this spectrum. standing up for tasks, a brisk hallway lap or movement in the areas that you're working, or a 1 minute reset. These slight, frequent nudges lift the floor, right? For blood flow, joint lubrication, and increase your focus. Exercise still matters. We don't want to take that away, but it can undo hours of sitting or stillness by itself. The win is to touch the middle zones often and hit a workout when you can, talking to our strength coach or doing on your own PT squadron. In a minute, I'll show you exactly which snacks to do and when to do it during an 8 hour or 12-hour shift. Welcome to the module 2, Musculoskeletal Resilience. The theme here is variability beats perfection. Instead of chasing a single ideal posture, we will protect our joints by cycling positions and giving each region what it needs, right? For example, mobility for ankles, hips, and the thoracic spine. Control is usually for knees, the lumbar spine, and smart balance for work, the neck and shoulders, right? In the next few minutes, I'll show you the common pain chains in the 2 minutes reset that break them, okay? All right, here is a quick truth about posture. There is not one perfect posture to hold all day. And that has been shown by research. Clinically, we see it all the time. Even textbook alignment becomes uncomfortable when it's static for too long. Blood flow slows down, small muscles downregulate, and the tension in your muscles creeps into the neck and low back. So the reality is your best posture is your next posture. That's what we always say. Means change your posture often, right? Cycle through 3 gears like sitting, standing, or moving about every 60 to 90 minutes, as we said before. When seated, your feet should be flat on the floor, ribs should be stacked over your pelvis, chin gently back. Then stand for a task or two, change your weight and balance over both feet, and add a natural breaks of movement. Maybe if you can stand up and do a few squats or a few different movements, or kind of walk down the hallway if possible, right? For 60 seconds. Here I'm gonna show you the joint by joint snapshot, right? Some regions crave mobility. That's the ankle, hip, and thoracic spine. Others need stability and control. That's the knee and low back. The neck or the cervical spine focuses on balance, right? It's kind of like both control and movement, and the shoulder needs both mobility and also control. So why this is important? Discomfort often shows up when a mobility of the joint stiffs and the neighbor over moves to compensate the stiffness. Let's talk about the ankle. Stiff ankle drive knee stress, right? Tight hips load the low back, and around the thoracic spine pushes the head forward and crowds the shoulder. Our micro brakes will protect each region and roll so the chain stays balanced, right? Let's talk about the ankle mobility. We see this a lot clinically and people coming back from injuries or people just sitting for too long or being sedentary. When the ankle can bend forward well, or it's called limited dorsiflexion, we typically see an early heel lift at the arch rolling in, right? Which means that increases the pronation, flat foot, as we call it, through the plantar fascia and Achilles, and it can actually nudge the knee into a slight medial drift or like valgus drift, we call it, which irritates the kneecap, right? So the takeaway from all of this is if the ankle won't move as needed or it doesn't give you the motion that you need, the knee and the foot try to compensate for that. And they'll kind of complain later, right? The fix is not that complicated. We restore the glide of the ankle and the movement of the kneecap and other regions will actually get better. And the forces traveling from your foot and the ground up will actually dissipate more naturally. In this slide here, the next one, we'll talk about a couple of minutes things you can do on your desk to reset, and how to kind of do these things on your own as well. Here I'm going to show you a really quick desk version of what I'm trying to achieve here, which is ankle mobility. There are three of them, which is called knee to wall dorsiflexion, standing heel raises, and half kneeling, half kneel rock, right? With this, the main thing here is, if you want to remember a couple things, is you want to keep your heel down on the floor, your knee actually tracks over your toes, and your breath out at end range, okay, at the end of the movement. That's your quick restore of ankle motion and a light pump for circulation to return back to your work. Now, I want to show you here the gym version of the same purpose, right? We have the banded dorsiflexion mobilization, heels elevated squat pulses, and what's called the tibial raises, all right? Same thing, keep heels grounded on the pulses, knees track over the toes, and move smoothly as well. That's a fast way to restore motion, and you can also add some of the strength so the movement sticks for longer, okay? Let's talk about the hips now. The powerhouse for walking, stairs, and lifting weights. Long sitting keep us in the about 90 degrees of hip flexion. After hours in that position, the hip flexor, which is the muscles in the front of your hips, can get tight and stiffen. The pelvis will tip forward, right? And it's showed here as what's called anterior pelvic tilt. And the low back often arches to compensate. When we lose hip extension, two things happen first, right? We still force from the glutes, which is your big muscles in your posterior in the region in the back. So every step feels less efficient. Second, the front of the hip can pinch because the femur is driven forward in the socket. And over time, that pattern is linked with common issues like anterior hip pain. Sometimes you can have some femoral acetabular impingement type of irritation, and other compensatory low back tension, right? The fix is simple, is to restore the hip extension and rotation, then groove a hitch pattern so the hips move while the lumbar spine stabilizes. And I will show you a really quick 2-minute desk sequence and a 2-minute gym upgrade next, okay? Here is your quick mobility activities you can do in the office or where you're working, right? It's a 2 minutes total. And first you can do a standing hip flexor stretch for 20 seconds, sorry, each side. You do your seated figure on your chair for 20 seconds each side, and standing hip cars, which is just basically moving the hips side to side and rotating as well, so you can get some joint lubrication as well. You can repeat the sequence once more if time allows, and you restore your extension, your external internal rotation of the hips, and remind your core to keep your spine quiet, okay? Next, we'll show you what a 2-minute reset gym session will look like. It's the same idea, a little more load probably. So the first one I like to do is a banded hip flexor distraction, 20 seconds each side. And I love this one because it actually targets the hip and all the tissues that have been smashed together when you're sitting for too long. Next, you're gonna do a deep gobble squat pride, 20 seconds each side. And last but not least, I love the weighted 90-90 switches, okay? Also add some rotation in the hips and lubrication in that area. By doing this, you've restored what's called capsular motion and added strength so the range sticks for the rest of the shift as well, okay? So you can do this in the area where you work if you have the equipment, but if not, you can do this definitely in the gym as well. Let's hit the low back now. Most desk discomforts are not from bad posture, as we said before. It's usually from sustaining your sitting posture for too long, as we said before, more than an hour or two at a time. and also when we are not aware of our core and muscles around our posture, right? The lumbar segments flex and extends instead of the hips hinging to take the motion. That's another issue. Over a day, that repeated shear and micro movement builds tension, right? So what do we do? Two things. One, I'll teach you a light brace and a move at the hips. Think of your spine like a sturdy column, right? Ribs are stacked over pelvis. Breath expand 360 around your belt line, then a gentle tighten, and about 20% effort to lock that in, right? So you take that. From there, bend by sending the hips back, not by rounding or arching the low back, okay? That's the important thing. Usually the common complaints when in control of the spine or the muscles are not activating or you're sitting for too long are one of the things. So non-specific low back pain, or you have recurring flare-ups after long sitting or lifting, and you kind of get those cranky discs, facets, when we combine flexion with rotation, all right? The important thing is here, again, it goes back to the principles, which is if you're sitting for 60 and over 90 minutes at a time, that's time to move and get everything reset, okay? Here our resets will groove hips, move spine as well, so the back can calm down, all right? Here's the 2-minute reset on for the desk side, okay? I have 3 exercises that are my favorite. First one, you will do the core bracing, all right? You can do this at 8 breaths. The second one will be your brace hip hinge, which also is going to dissociate your hip from your spine and can liberate some of the pressure and tension there. And last but not least, I like this one a lot, which is your standing trunk extension, which also can free up some of the pressure and tension in the front of your spine. Okay. And here's the modified gym session movement reset. So first one, you can do the dead bug. All right. This one will target your muscles in the spine, the little muscles that kind of support your vertebrae. You can also do the side plank, which is an important movement that supports your muscles on the side of your spine as well. And the last will be your pal press, which I enjoy it a lot because it integrates all your spine, lumbar spine, back, hips, upper shoulders, and everything activating at the same time. One smooth round takes about 2 minutes, right? In a second round, if time allows, you can do it as well. These 3 cover all directions, your extension, your lateral flexion, rotation, so your trunk can resist while the hips and shoulders do the work. Next, we're gonna hit the mid-back, the thoracic spine. When this region gets stiff and rounds forward, 3 things happen here, okay? First, the shoulder blades cannot rotate and tilt normally, so that the rotator cuff, which is the muscles in your shoulder, gets tied up and it can lead up to what's called shoulder impingement and other issues such as shoulder pain or discomfort, okay? Second, the ribs get sticky and uncomfortable, which limits the rotation and makes breathing very difficult and shallow. You feel tired sooner. And third, the head drifts forward, or you have what's called forward head posture, leading to neck pain. The fix is not janking the shoulders back into the shoulder socket to restore that. It's actually by restoring the thoracic mobility, extension, and rotation, then letting the shoulders blades ride the rib cage the way they are designed. And I'll show you this into the next couple of slides with a quick desk reset, and you can update this into the gym as well, okay? I love this exercise for people that are sitting for too long, right? You guys fit the perfect profile for this. And it's called the seated matrix. Here it is, one set of 8 repetitions. Doesn't take too long, but it will help you free up that shoulder, neck, and thoracic spine tightness or stiffness, right? 2 minutes total, right? Follow along in your chair. Arms are across over your chest. Sit tall on the sit bones And first, you're gonna do extension with flexion. Do a couple reps of that. You're gonna rotate to the right. You're gonna rotate to the left. You also do a couple of those on each side, and then you do what's called diagonal openers. You do one on each side, and then you wrap it up with a deep breath. By doing this very simple movement technique, I promise you it's gonna give you a lot of less discomfort in your spine, shoulders, and neck. We can take this to the next level when we go to the gym, right? So a couple of things you will need here is what's called dumbbell trunk rotation. Simply you take the dumbbell up and across your body and you rotate to the opposite side. Next, you're gonna do what's called foam roller thoracic extension, and this will help to kind of improve that extension of your spine to liberate some of the tension in your neck. And then last but not least, you do the bench open book. I love this one because it adds some rotation to your spine and can help you to feel much better long term as well. Okay, so do these three for your thoracic spine. One of my favorite topics is actually the forward head posture, right? With forward head posture, the head shifts forward in front of the shoulders, and the neck extensors, which are the muscles in the back, have to work much, much harder. The neck extensors are those little muscles that are on the back side of it, right? So any small shift can create a big, what's called torque or muscle activation necessary to prevent that from getting worse, right? In reality, research estimates that each centimeter forward can add roughly about 10 to 20% of more muscular demand. So think about that, right? Depending on your setup. That constant background work shows up as tension headaches, trigger points in the upper traps, elevator, and cervicogenic headaches, especially late in the day. The quick fix is not just yanking your head back, it's restoring a gentle chin retraction and not to wake up the deep muscles in your neck, opening the mid back so the head can sit over the ribs, and lightly activating the scapular muscles so the shoulders stop dragging the neck forward. Okay, so let's go forward here. Let me show you some of the exercises you can do around your desk, and also some of them we could do it at the gym. Here's my top three exercises or movements you can do around your desk. First, you do your levator scapular stretch, which is shown here. One set of 20 seconds on each side. You do your chin knots, 8 slow and controlled. You want to feel the movement in your neck and muscles around it. You do those for 8 reps. And the last, you do your upper trap stretch. You're going to hold that for 20 seconds on each side. And it's going to help you to feel better. Your neck and upper back tension is going to decrease after you do this, okay? Last, you can do your gym version here, which would take about 2 minutes as well. So you do your band retraction holds. You can use any color band you feel more comfortable with. You do 8 reps and you hold it for about 5 seconds. Next, you do your face pull isos, which is 8 reps of those for 3 seconds hold. And last but not least, you do your bench prayer spine stretch. You hold that position, you push down your chest into the floor, and you hold that for 20 seconds. I promise you, you're going to feel so much better. Welcome to Module 3, which is our last one of the day. It's called the Daily Movement Architecture, right? This is where we take the joint reset and build them into your daily activities so they happen on autopilot. Hopefully, will we use anchors, things you already do, add a micro reset at each anchor, and sprinkle in a short macro session a few times per week. By the end, you will pick your anchors and log them into your calendar. Here's the whole model in one picture. Anchors are the fixed cues. You already have basically logging on, coffee, lunch, meeting, wrap up, and shutting down. We attach a micro break to those anchors, just 60 to 120 seconds of the right drill for right joint chain, right? That interrupts the creep and keeps you comfortable. A few times a week, we add a macro session 20 minutes or more of brisk walk or a short strength circuit. Think of this as habit first, volume later. If all of you do is hit 3 anchors with 1 micro each day, you will feel different, you will have more energy, and you will feel a difference by late afternoon when that's easy layers in the macro. Here's the starter map. For an 8-hour desk shift, just 3 anchors, let's say around 8:30 when you log on, run to the upper chain reset. 5 chair thoracic extension and 15 band pull aparts. Around 12 during lunch, take a 15-minute brisk walk. That's your macro if you can add it in. At 1400, the classic post lunch dip, run the hip lumbar reset or a short hip flexor stretch, 10 glute bridges, and a 10 chair hinges. That's under 20 minutes spread across one day. But it breaks the longest stillness blocks, which is what we want. For a 12-hour shift, we space 4 anchors. One at 7, right after the pre-shift huddle or whenever you start getting to work. Do the hip lumbar reset if you can. It sets your hips and hinge pattern for the day. Mid-shift around 12 during a coffee or water break, hit the ankle or knee snacks movement. 30 ankle pumps and 10-minute squats to keep your foundation movement. During the meal break, grab a 15-minute brisk walk if you can. That's your macro of the day. Late in the day, near 1700, run the upper chain reset to unload the neck and shoulders before the home stretch. Even across 12 hours, this is roughly about 20 to 22 minutes and it keeps you comfort and focus steadier. So make sure you do this. We made it. This is the last slide of the session. Thank you so much for staying with me here. But the big takeaways I want you to take home is static posture actually creeps in, right? Not heavy lifting is what drive most desks pain. Mobility joints need movement. Basically, stability joint needs control, as we said before. Anchor plus your movement snacks is actually what you're gonna be using for the rest of your time working or when you're sitting for too long. And if you attach 3 anchors times 2 minutes, that's basically your movement snacks there that you can do simply at work or at home. Thank you so much for listening to us and to me. I'm excited to be here and help you with whatever you need. And don't forget to reach out to the Guardian Resilience team here in Buckley, and we're here to help you and to support you at any time. Thank you.